Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 20th episode of the Blacks in Technology audio podcast. I'm your tech host for this evening. My name is Greg and Ronnie. I am the owner, founder of the Blacks in Technology community site. You can check us out at www.blacksintechnology.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at Black in Technology. That's BLKINTECHNOLOGY. And if you want to, you can also check us out on LinkedIn under the group Blacks in Technology. Also, if you have any questions about the podcast at the end of this podcast, you can email us to contact us at blacksintechnology.net. So tonight we have co-host Ronnie Hash joining us today on this podcast as well. And if this is your first time listening in on the podcast, I pretty much like to give a little summary on why we do these podcasts. A couple of reasons why. We definitely like to spotlight other black techies in the technology field, people who are actually out there doing their thing, who have experiences that they can share with our audience, and just give a little bit of background on the things, some of the things that they're involved in. The other thing is we like to give the audience tidbits of knowledge as well. It's because, as you know, every bit of knowledge is good knowledge. So anything that our guests can share with the audience to kind of help them maybe move along in their career, or give them some advice on some things to do, whether it's technology related or business related, because sometimes the two of them tend to merge. That's something also that we like to do. A third thing is we just like to form a general, overall informal discussion about tech, about our experiences, so that we can all get together pretty much and try to change the landscape, not only within in technology, but within the black culture. So there is a social aspect of this whole thing that we kind of like to touch on from time to time. And just to let the brothers and sisters out there know that there is an organization out there that's focused on growing the black tech community, and that that organization is Blacks in Technology. There's other organizations as well, but that's something that we definitely try to focus on. So we pretty much like to bring on guests so they can talk about their career, and give us a little bit of background about how they got into tech, and that's our goal, that's our focus, and we try to do it in a way that opens up technology for all our brothers and sisters out there, so they can see that there are people that look like them, talk like them, sound like them, walk like them, or whatever, that's out here actually doing this thing that called technology, and that we love to do it, and it's our passion, and that we some of us are making pretty good living at it, and some of us are changing things as we know it, just on the internet and through apps and things like that. So tonight on our show, we have software engineer Hadiyah Mujhid. She is a software engineer. She's out of San Francisco. Very bright, intelligent young lady. She has her MBA in information systems from the Drexel University College of Business Administration. She also holds her Bachelor's of Science degree in computer science from the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. And she's just a overall busy person. She's involved with the Black Founder website. It's blackfounders.com. She's also involved in her own startup venture called Picturely. That's picture.ly. And we're going to bring her on to the show right now. Thanks, Hadiyah, for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you.
So usually what we do is we have guests on the show. Pretty much what Blacks in Technology is the organization that's geared and focused on encouraging and promoting information technology to African Americans, black people in general. And the reason why we started the organization is to it's to create a community, an atmosphere to where, Black people in general can just go and feel comfortable and talk to other Black people that are in the same area, the career field of information technology and technology as a whole. And we started these podcasts as a way to kind of spotlight people, Black people that are, in the career field and that are doing, some positive things in the field, as well as doing some, innovative things as well. So tonight, like I said, Hadiyah has agreed to, join us on the podcast so we can talk about some of the things that she's involved in and talk about her background in technology as well. So we're just going to, jump right into it. Again, thanks, Hadiyah, for joining us. So, Hadiyah, you are out of, San Francisco?
Yeah, I live in San Francisco now. I've been here for about a year.
Okay. And what actually brought you out to San Francisco? Because I know you studied, you got your degree in computer science from Maryland, so that's on the East Coast. So how did you get out to the West Coast?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Philadelphia, so I'm an East Coast girl. And
okay.
After college, after graduation, I took a position in South Jersey, right outside Philadelphia. And through my company, I've stayed with them for 10 years, and I've kind of moved around to different spots with them, with the final spot being up in Northern California. And so I moved here a year through a company transfer a year ago. And so this is how I landed here. But it was kind of like a purpose transfer. I knew since the transfer was known that there would be an opportunity for me to learn more about the startup and tech scene while living here.
Okay. And San Francisco right now seems to be the place to be for tech, startups and tech in general.
Yes. And been like this.
And that's because of. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was saying it's been like this for quite a while. This being known or dubbed as the Silicon Valley, where most companies are skilled in. You can't really walk down the street without bumping into an engineer. So.
Gotcha. So you went to. Yeah, definitely. So you went to Drexel University. You got your MBA in information systems, but you got your bachelor's of science in computer science from the University of Maryland. Now, tell us, what is the difference for people out there who might not know? What's the difference between information systems and computer science?
So from my schooling, my computer science degree was heavily based in programming. So I did a lot of programming language and programming theory at the bachelor's level. When I did information systems at an MBA, it was more on an application level. The use of certain applications in business applications and business logic in the applications. Okay.
Which one do you like better?
Computer science. I would say that because it was an MBA, but I had a concentration in MIS, it was heavily focused in, organization theory, organizational leadership, finance, of course. MBAs are heavy in finance and accounting. And at first I went in the MBA because I wanted it to be kind of like a management track, and I allowed it to lead me through a management track. But after a while, I realized I really just wanted to go back to some core technical work, including programming.
Nice.
Before you started college, did you know that you wanted to be in the information technology field? And also, since I see that you're an entrepreneur, did you always know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur too? And now that you've learned and got a lot of experience in technology, now you can bridge both of them.
So I think I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I've always had entrepreneur projects my entire life since the age of 12, whether it's selling bubble gum, going to the supermarket and get the big packs and selling bubble gum, or I think in the summer I had. You used to do that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And also I used to, I think during the summer, I got my parents to kind of like rent like charter a bus, and I used to sell tickets to like Jordan Park in the summer. So I was always entrepreneur-minded. However, that being said, I thought entrepreneur-minded was kind of being money-focused. And when I went to college, I didn't start out with a computer science degree. I actually started out, I would say, being money-focused. So I went to kind of like the library and figure out who made the most each year and what was the track to that. So I realized that dentists, people who perform oral surgery, actually made a ton of money a year. I think it was like $360,000 a year, and they were listed as the highest salary in the United States. So I kind of started college doing So I kind of started college doing a pre-dental, pre-med track, and believe it or not, this sounds really crazy when I tell people this, but within my first or second year there, I was kind of really bored, and I honestly wasn't a big fan of, like, organic chemistry. I had to take a lot of that. And I kind of was like, well, what's the easiest way for me to get out of college? And for me, it was really computer science because it was something that had lined up with my natural skills.
So did you do any programming at all before you got to college, or was this, or did you have a love for technology?
I did. I always had a love for technology. I was kind of like the typical engineer story of taking things apart and putting it back together.
Gotcha.
And then my uncle actually owned a computer consulting firm, and I kind of worked with him as an intern doing web pages. So, like, my first, I guess, programming language outside of, like, school was really programming web pages in HTML. And then I think in school we learned Pascal and some other basic languages, maybe they're basic. But, you know, to me, programming language was pretty easy because, for me, it kind of aligned with the way that I thought, and I was a pretty illogical person. So it snapped real easy for me.
So being that you had an entrepreneurial mindset, and being that you were in track and field, now have you ever used that to your advantage as far as being like maybe in a bar and challenging a guy to race and beating him and then winning money? By the way, that was not a serious question.
No, but it's funny because, I mean, I'm a goofy person, so you will probably see me somewhere challenging somebody to race for the goofiness of it.
Nice. So I see that you're pretty well versed in what, Java, C++, Ruby on Rails, HTML, CSS, jQuery.
Yeah.
What do you program in the most?
Right now, I am heavily immersed in Rails. It's actually the newest language that I'm picking up, and as I want to make the jump into web development, I started programming in it this year. So I've been teaching myself and immersing myself in it this year.
Okay. Nice. Now you're involved in quite a few businesses, it seems. A couple of startups, as well as being part of what's that, Numi Accelerator?
Well, I'm not a part of Numi. I'm part of Black Founders. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're definitely have the same. Huh?
So did you just participated in the Numi Accelerator?
No, I didn't participate in the Numi Accelerator. But one of my co-founders, the Black Founders, did. He was a participant in the Numi Accelerator with his company, Centrally.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And that's who, Chris Bennett, is that?
Yes, that's Chris. Okay,
so do you do anything with Centrally?
No, I don't work with Centrally. That's Chris startup. I have a couple of other projects that I'm working on. My main project right now is Picturely.
Okay.
And right now our site is up, and our site is just really a photo picture stream. But we're doing a lot of discovery or exploring right now, experimenting with picture discovery and image semantics. So those are just some things that we're kind of working on in the background.
So tell us a little bit more about Picturely. Like what exactly is, for people that might not know, what is image semantics?
So image semantics is being able to gather information from an image, or have the computer gather information from an image. This is a real new field, a very new field, and this is as of right now, the site is really just a instant photo stream. But my co-founders and I were really interested in just semantics overall and analysis of it. So we're exploring and developing, trying to get something good out.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool. I was going to say, how did this idea come about? What made you guys say, dude, we should do this Picturely picture streaming site? What was the aha moment? Like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
We actually, the team that I have, we actually met at Startup Weekend in May. And for us, we're both, passionate about social media, and we heard of a tool called Twitter Wall, or like Tweet Wall Pro. And I don't know if you've heard of them, but they basically display Twitter text based on a hashtag. And if you're in like a party or a bar or a conference, they'll display them on a large screen or through a projector, and you'll see all the text tweets come through. And for us, for a cool startup project, what we wanted to do was kind of, instead of focus on the text, just focus on the pictures. And so we kind of started with just a picture stream. And we left it at that. And then we tried to validate to see if that was a valid business, to see if people would be interested in actually using that service. Maybe they white label it at a conference. And unfortunately, not too many people were interested in paying for the service. So at that point, we had to kind of draw the line, and what the most overused term out here is called a pivot. And so right now we're in the transition of pivoting to find, basically, invalidate a business model, because essentially when you're starting a company, you have to build a business model behind it, and one that can potentially generate revenue. So,
gotcha.
So we basically looked at some new technologies out there, some of our interests, as well as we talked to some customers as far as what's their need right now. We were fortunate to meet a young lady who works in stock photography, and she said one of the problems that she has is that it's such a manual process to tag a photo using conceptual terms. So it's one thing where we have image recognition, which is still pretty much in its infancy, the technology, where you can show a picture and you can recognize that it has a chair in it, or you can recognize, there's a face in it. But a lot of things that you can't really gather from a picture, such as emotions, or, like she says, sometimes she has clients that come and say, give me a picture that represents strength or honor. And that's a very manual process that her team goes through all these pictures and kind of determine how they feel. So we're really experimenting. This is really experimenting. It would probably take us a while to get something decent out, but, that's the area that interests myself and the co-founders, as far as being able to pick up context clues in a picture and describe it conceptually.
That's pretty slick. That is pretty slick. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's pretty close to non-existent technology right now. So we're
so you being the first to do it will be incredible.
Right. I mean, it's really kind of like a lot of research labs are exploring it now, and so we're trying to find, learn from the research that people are doing now, and see if there's any small piece that we can leverage right now, such as the quickest way that a lot of people do is analyzing the text that's around the picture. And so that's a quick way to kind of like analyze the picture.
So, like, what schools or what organizations are like really looking into this technology, and what are they trying to use it for? I mean, you're obviously trying to put together some type of app that's useful for people, but what other applications of that type of technology is there out there?
I mean, I believe that there are probably a lot of applications, but the problem is the technology is very, very new and right now sort of non-existent. You know, there's a couple of research papers. There's a research paper that I grabbed off of somebody from the Stanford lab, and they're just trying to understand how you could do it because it's really an element of machine learning or artificial intelligence. So when I say that it's pretty much non-existent right now, it pretty much is non-existent.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That'll be.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that'll be quite an accomplishment if, you know, anyone, you know, can come up with it, but I would, you know, I would like to see you get into that and really make it work.
Yeah, it's definitely a big chunk to try to attack. So we're starting small and trying to find a small angle, such as maybe finding a quicker model to allow users to kind of conceptually tag a picture. So we're just exploring different options right now.
Excellent.
So are you working on any other exciting projects? And kind of tell us a little bit about your life. Like, what is it like to be Hadiyah when I wake up in San Francisco, I'm going to the coffee shop with my laptop, coding away? Am I networking with some geeks or always attending some meetups and cons? Is it like what everyone dreams the Bay Area will be like?
You know, sadly, that was very typical of my life. Very sadly.
That's pretty nice. I actually like that.
Well, you know, I think the most part that I think, since this is very new for me. Like I said, I left my position at work August 31st, so I've only been doing this for a month. So the biggest struggle for me right now is kind of, I think at work you always had this sense of accomplishment or something that you can stand on, like, oh, I do this and I've accomplished this and this and that. And so right now it's kind of like, right now I'm just like aspiring, you know, really aspiring. So it's like, it's kind of, I'm learning and discovering what my startup, and you know, it's definitely not at the stage to, you know, be fully released. And so right now it's kind of like, yeah, I'm just a startup geek right now, just going to startups trying to make it happen, but it's not there yet.
With you guys' business, are you hoping to maybe eventually get some startup capital from some VCs out there, or are you guys just going to try to grow it organically and see how it goes from there, maybe get money off of advertisements, or if you don't mind, what is your strategy?
So it really depends on, you know, how we build out the startup. We're looking to kind of collect data, analyze that data, and possibly make a data play to sell to companies who care about the data of images, and then, you know, they would in turn be our clients. So we're hoping to build a business model behind that. And then depending on, you know, how quickly we need to scale, you know, we will potentially go look for funding. But right now, I think we're still trying to nail down what exactly it is that we're trying to build after pivoting, and how do we make that relevant to our customer.
So I was reading your blog at hadiyah.me. And I was reading the entry to pivot to moments of insanity, and you had an excerpt in there where you're kind of talking to your mom that saying that you're going to leave your job, and your mom is like, "Do you have another job lined up?" And you're like, "No, I'm going to be self-employed." And your mom goes, with the website thing, and and then she asked the question, how is that employment? Did that moment right there, like when she said that, how did that affect you? As far as did that kind of, did you have your mind set already? Like, hey, I'm doing it, and you had like nothing. I'm not turning back, or were you pretty scared? Like, hey, wow, Mom, she might have hit home with that.
Yeah, every day is scary because the reality is I just don't know how it's going to turn out, and the success of startups is like really, really low. I think close to 80 to 90% of startups fail, and so it's real scary. But for me, when I left my company, it was all about a learning experience. So I looked at it realistically, knowing that there's a high chance of failure, but with failure, it will bring opportunity. So even if, like, I looked at worst case scenario, I completely flopped, but the success factor for me would be that I learned the ins and outs of building a company. I learned what not to do. I learned a new programming language, which is Rails, which I'm doing now. So, even I say worst case scenario, even if it's a complete failure, and I'm blowing through my statements right now, it's still an investment in learning opportunity. I would have to spend more money to go to school and learn the stuff that I'm doing now, and probably won't even have the lessons that I'm gaining now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Experience is definitely, it's huge. And the problem that a lot of people run into is that, some companies they want experience, but, people fresh out of school don't have experience, so you run up against that wall. And being able to, for you to be able to get that experience, and not only from the technical aspect of it, but from a business aspect of it, that's a huge advantage. You also list in that same blog post your top 5 failures as opposed to your accomplishment. Now, run through real quick what the 5 failures, if you can remember them, were are, and then say that again. You said you had to go back and see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about them, and then you can kind of elaborate. But first off, why did you list your failures instead of your accomplishments?
I think more people can learn from failures than accomplishments sometimes. And I don't know if I said that too quickly, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah, I know from my past, I've realized that a lot of things that I've learned were from failures, things that didn't turn out the way they should have. It's a lesson learned to do better. I guess you can learn from accomplishments too, but it just takes you to the next level. So it's important for me to quickly recognize when I'm failing and then try to correct it.
Okay. So number one thing that you well, I don't know if these are in order, but first thing that you listed was start with a problem.
Yes. So that's the one thing that we learned from Pitcherly when we just thought it was a cool novelty. And, the site is still up, and it's a pretty cool novelty. You can go there and enter, a city, your favorite city, enter Paris, and you have all this beautiful picture stream of Paris. And everyone likes it, and it's cool. But as far as adding a business model to that, you're not really solving anyone's problem.
Gotcha.
And so that was something that we learned.
Okay. Second thing you listed was
there are exceptions to that. You do have your exceptions where you don't necessarily have a startups are not necessarily solving the problem, but it can be a novelty and it's a success.
Okay. Second thing that you listed, delay building the product until you have proof points from potential customers who's showing interest. Yes.
And that's something that's kind of built out of this lean startup methodology that pretty big here. And the theory behind that is, you don't have to spend time developing, and you can speak to customers and already have customers on board before you build. You have better chance of success. I actually even read a post, I think today, how a person was doing customer development using a competitor's site. Like they went to a competitor's site and put it in front of a customer. They didn't build the site, but they used a competitor's site and kind of like talk them through it and ask them if they were interested, and then build off the betterment of that.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, sir, Hadiyah. Oh, no, go ahead, Greg.
Okay, I'm just going to try to get through this real quick. Third thing is stay in private beta longer and work with your initial set of users to better your product.
Great. I think that's also kind of like the lean startup methodology, I think. But I think that's something, and I can't confirm this, but when you have a site that's open and everyone has access to it, a lot of people don't understand what state you're in, and so they're not as willing to provide feedback. And if something is wrong, they will potentially just leave your site and never visit again, as opposed to if someone is an early adopter and they've signed up for access to your site and you're connecting with them saying, hey, we're trying to make the site better, help us, you're reaching out, they're more willing to provide more feedback and to build a better product, and to the point where you're open to release it for all.
Oh, that's pretty interesting advice there. That's good advice. Number 4 was ensure that your team has a singular vision.
Yeah. So this is something. It
sounds like it could have been drama behind that, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's most important, and I think that a good leader basically has to make sure that a team has a singular vision, because it makes no point if you guys have different visions and someone's focused on that, then you guys really shouldn't be on the same team.
Okay. And the last but not least, and probably the most important of all, find customers who will pay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that goes back to my mom's my mom's quote about, well, you're not getting a paycheck. So if you're in it to build a business, the truth is you're really going to have to find customers who pay. And there's a lot of different philosophies behind that, because some people believe in, like, if I build a product where I can get plenty of customers, then I'll get acquired. But that's a very narrow road. And but going back to the core of building, a core business or a basic business foundation is, you find a customer who's pay. No one's going to, if you open up a brick and mortar store and sell hats, you don't give them away for free. That's the basics of building a business.
That's great information. Great stuff to know. For people out there who are contemplating getting into, any type of business, really is, pretty much kind of know where you're going with your business, build a business model, and, make sure that you have an adequate and team that's on the same page, and ultimately find people that'll give you money for what you do.
Right.
Go ahead, Ronnie. You were saying something?
Yeah, I was on the Picture Leaf site taking a look at it. So let me get this straight. Now, you guys are wanting to organize all the pictures in a row, right? So again, can you explain how that's going to be hashtagged? Are you relying on people to put some sort of hashtag associated with the picture, or are you going to try to analyze it and find some fingerprint in the picture to kind of identify that picture?
Well, both. So both.
Both?
Yeah, so right now the hashtag that's being drawn, all the pictures are being drawn from Twitter, which automatically has a hashtag. Not a hashtag, but just any type of keywords that are associated, and that those keywords are just the text that are contained in the tweet. But, future releases, you can have people tag different pictures, and that way you can categorize it. There may be an option where, people can upload their own pictures to contribute to this world database of pictures and tag them themselves. There's also auto tagging that can be done pretty simple. When you do image recognition and you can recognize certain objects in the picture.
Yeah, I was going to say this can kind of get pretty scary as I think about it, because if you develop an app that's like super smart artificial intelligence where, okay, you start to learn the pattern of people's pictures, right? You know how people tag their photos on Facebook and stuff, and now you start to see a pattern of Ronnie Hash, right? So then how about someone don't tag my picture, but you can still pick that picture up on the internet?
Yeah.
So people beware. That could be pretty scary at the same time.
I'm saying there's actually companies that, right now that allows a public tagging of people in photos that are outside of Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you start indexing all that, I mean, I could see companies even using that to just spy on their employees and stuff. Like, let me see Ronnie Hash. I've seen his Facebook pictures. Let me see if anyone else posts it. Or it could be, or someone can use it for themselves to say, let me see if anyone cut and paste my face out of my picture and post it somewhere else that it should be. It could be used good and bad. That's pretty slick. I like that. Yeah.
that it could definitely help for relationships too. Imagine doing that before you get in a relationship with somebody.
Hey, what's research too when you start dating somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about to picturely this and see where this person been.
There you go. We just picturely that. I like that. Let's talk about the Black Mark Zuckerberg. There was some controversy. As a matter of fact, I think I might have actually. There's been a few posts about needing the Black Mark Zuckerberg, but I think I actually went and posted a response to that original post there, and I was reading the blog here and your blog, and I liked a couple of the things that you were saying on here, because I read some of those posts, and some of them were pretty awful. As far as the feedback that people were giving, and I agree with you. What's that? Did you say something, Ronnie?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, and pretty much you made the point of we don't need a Black Mark Zuckerberg, because we need somebody to be, like Mark Zuckerberg. We need that visibility and that face, that power, that influence, to be able to influence. And I think I actually posted something similar to that on that same exact post. Like, this is not about having, a copycat of Mark Zuckerberg. This is about, the power and that this person has to influence all these, other companies and all these other people to get into tech, and that is definitely something that we need. So, talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
No,
about your mindset behind the whole thing.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's really being able to add visibility to the successful Black entrepreneurs in tech that are out there, and and what you guys are doing, you're actually solving that problem with the podcast and with your website. So, but that's exactly what we need. I mean, we had Black Founders had an event last night. We called it an unconference, whereas we kind of just listed out some of the problems in the community, in the Black entrepreneur tech community. And part of it was exposure and visibility, which goes hand in hand. Show visibility to the ones who are successful and doing it right, so that you can expose them to encourage the generation or the younger ones coming behind. and thus increasing the numbers of blacks in tech.
Excellent. Yeah, that's one of my ultimate things with the website and with the podcast, and just overall just being able to have that that FaceTime, which I like to call it, so that some of the people that are coming up, some of the young kids, some of the younger adults can actually have somebody to recognize that looks like them, talks like them, walks like them, and so that they can say, hey, this is something that is for me, and it's not something that's taboo. It's not something that seems, mythical or anything like that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you 100% on that. Talk to us about Black Founders. Now, I actually met you through. I don't want to mess. Can you pronounce the name again? Because I totally forgot how to pronounce it. Yeah.
Nina. Nina's one of my co-founders, and there's four of us. There's Nina, Chris, and Monique, and so the four of us founded Black Founders. Okay, so tell us a little about Black Founders and what Black Founders is about. And so Black Founders basically simply exist to increase the number of successful Black entrepreneurs in tech. And we do this by, helping create visibility as well as providing workshops and events to equip entrepreneurs and as well as networking events. And so that's what we mainly do. We have a couple of programs that we'll be releasing or coming out with next year. But last night we had a really good event, and we called it an unconference, but it was a way that locally in this community, I think it was a pretty small event, and we wanted it to be a small event because it was kind of like a community organizing development event. And so we set it saying that the max I could attend was 15, but 20 people actually showed up. And we spent the whole night just basically identifying core issues in the space, in the tech space, in Black community in the tech space, and ways that we can kind of like just build the foundation to help solve them. And there was a lot of interesting things that came out of that. Of course, one of them was visibility. There are a lot of successful Black entrepreneurs and co-founders that we just don't know that they're there. Another one was basically education for basic entrepreneur education. I've talked to a lot of people who've taken applications for their accelerator, and they say, hey, I would love to have more Black applicants, but when I get a minority applicant, some of them are just not prepared. They're like a single founder, and they only have an idea, but they haven't really put the work in, and then they're applying to a accelerator. And so that's part of the education part that we want to help address so that we have more of a qualified pool. And then another thing that we touched on yesterday, which was really interesting, is really the financing side of it. There's a lot of invested in our own. There's a lot of Black people who have money to invest, but they may go a traditional route of investing because they're unaware of the tech scene or how to invest in the tech scene. And so we recently saw a couple of non-traditional investors get into tech investing outside of the Black community, but within the Black community, with Ashton Kutcher invested in tech. Justin Timberlake invested in tech. Lady Gaga and Chameleonaire is now invested in tech. And I think, more recently at the TechCrunch Disrupt, there were a couple of other artists. I want to say Trey Songz was at TechCrunch Disrupt as well. Yeah, looking to invest in startups. So that was another issue as far as outreaching to this community, letting them know that we're here, and then as well as maybe providing an education platform as far as how to invest in tech startups.
That's pretty awesome. I wish I was out in San Fran. It seems like I'm connected with Adria and a few other people on Google Plus, and I always see these like videos or these great photos, and I seen the interview that Adria did with Chameleon, and I'm just like, wow, I need to get out to San Francisco. That's pretty nice.
We should make it a point to at least visit out there twice a year, Greg, just to network with the people we've met and stuff. But
you can come out to our conference. You can come out to the Black Founders Conference next year.
Yeah,
you guys have a conference?
Keep us informed.
Yeah. So
when are you guys planning on having it?
We're planning it for September. So when in September is so tentative, but we're looking at September. September seems to be the prime month. What city are you guys in?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio. So you guys might be quite farther away than where we're going. We're also looking to take some of the workshops that we've done here, which have been a success, such as some of our, we call it our CYA legal and accountant workshop, or our pitch night. We're looking to kind of take that to other cities as well. But we didn't have Cincinnati on the list for next year.
Chicago?
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't put Cincinnati on your list either.
Come on,
Cincinnati isn't this. No, I'm just playing. But no, I'm not. I'm not playing. No, seriously, I was going to ask that question. Like, are you guys looking after you develop these different programs and curriculums to have different chapters within Black Founders, where you can find leaders in these different cities to run with this formula that you guys came up with that seems to be pretty successful in helping?
That
or
would
do
be.
You guys want to?
No, I mean actually that would be very optimum. It is finding people who are as committed to running an organization in their city. That's part of the hard part, because we're here and we don't really know the community as much in other places. We've talked or interacted maybe through phone or through Twitter to a lot of other people. But I think once we get out and maybe have like workshops or networking events at other cities, we'll get a chance to interact and meet other people and understand their interest level if they want to kind of keep like a presence of Black Founders there, that they're willing to kind of like support it ongoing.
Nice. Yeah, if you definitely do one in Chicago, we'll definitely make a trip up there. That's only about 5 hours from Cincinnati.
Oh yeah. Now, how have you guys found the support to be with a lot of the initiatives that you guys are doing? Because I know, like Greg and I, when we go out to these different conferences, we reach out to a lot of African Americans we see there and tell them about the site and hope that they join. But there's a very small percentage we see the follow-up and come through. Mm-hmm. Do you guys kind of see the same thing, and if you do, what do you think that is?
So we don't really have like a membership per se. So the only thing where we can account for what we would call members is on our meetup site, and we're actually, I think that our meetup membership has kind of overgone our expectations. When we first started the meetup, I think back in February or March, we were only expecting really about 10 people. 10 people, and this is locally. We were only expecting about 10 people, and within our first meetup had like 20 to 30 people there. And that sounds really weird, but if you've ever been out here, and you'll know that there's a low population really in the city in South Bay of Blacks. And when you go over to the East Bay, of course, you'll have more. But as far as Blacks in tech, we really expected maybe 10, and we thought they were just going to be the people that we already knew. So we're pretty excited, and locally we've seen a lot of support. Now, as far as when we go to other places, we'll see how that turns out, because we have a lot of requests saying I wish you could start a Black Founders chapter here. And part of my reply is to start one, because we get emails all the time, and she would say, hey, I wish, you guys were out here because I need a community or a network out here. And, we're trying to, build this community up first, but if there's really a need there, just start it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what we did. As a matter of fact, I mean, I guess the mind frame behind the whole thing is we're kind of similar. We're kind of like when we started the site, our first initial projections as far as membership, like I didn't think it would get, past 100, because it's a really niche, thing.
Niche, yeah.
And right now there's over, we have over 400 members nationwide, signed up to the site. But yeah, I think we all definitely need to create like this, this ecosystem of organizations to where, somebody wants to know more about, startup companies, how to begin one, and some of the things that we can direct them to. Hey, you need to talk to the people at Black Founders. They definitely have all the information, and vice versa. And I think that's the way that we kind of grow this whole thing.
Right, and it's been I think with in today's age with social media and the internet, it's pretty easy to reach out to basically anyone. There are a couple people who reached out to me just from Twitter, and I've been talking to them as far as like helping them out as far as how to start up. Like if I have an idea, where do I go from here? So it's pretty easy to reach out to just about anyone.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of want to end this off on one thing that I really enjoyed about your blog. Is the blog called Engineers Don't Blog? Is that the actual name of it?
Yeah, I just, someone told me a long time ago I should start blogging when I said that I was going to enter and, quit my job and kind of like start entrepreneur. They was like, oh, you should just start blogging about your journey. I was like, well, engineers don't blog. And so I kind of cited that because, it is probably one of the things that I least like to do because it's back to the documentation of everything. And that's something that I need to work on. But I think it's a need as far as it's a way of sharing knowledge. And a lot of things in it is sometimes personal, but it's just a way of sharing knowledge.
I like that. And I'll tell you why I like that, because on Blacks in Technology, we're in the midst of redesigning the site. And on the site, we're going to have a section where we have, for one thing, the site is, pretty much all about tech. There's some things like within the forums that we began talking about, some social issues and things like that. But for the most part, when we began the site, we wanted it to be strictly about tech. We didn't want it to, any of the politics or the bureaucracy of some black organizations and things like. We just wanted it tech because that's what we do, that's what we like, and that's our passion. So anyhow, within the site redesign, we're going to actually have a page where we have different, we've actually had verbal commitments from some of the members to have like their own blogs within Blacks in Technology. They focus strictly on certain aspects of technology. So we have a person that's going to be doing, one on open source software. Another person that's going to be talking about, web or software development or, along those lines. And another person that's going to kind of merge business and technology into, some type of blog. And another person that might talk more about, network administration type stuff. So how that all ties in is that you actually have on your blog, that's kind of what you do. You talk about, technology, the things that you are involved in, the things that you like doing. And one of the ones that I ran across when I started skimming through your blog is Hacker Log 1. and you were doing something with a Rails project, and you actually had to migrate from SQLite to MySQL 2, and it wouldn't install because of some dependencies, some libraries, and you actually document some of the things that you had to go through. You had to do some installs of some libraries in order to get everything to work. And I love that, because that is not only is it showing your technical background and your technical aptitude, but it's also sharing knowledge as well.
Yeah, I was pissed off that night.
I could tell. You blogged about it, so you must have been. Some type of emotion must have been running.
I was just so afraid that I was going to run into it again, and it's like, how did I fix that? And I actually did run into it again. So
really?
I had wrote it. Yeah.
But that's the type of stuff I feel that's needed. And you have your picture on the site, so everyone knows that it's African American woman, and that you're documenting the things that you do, and this is development, programming, and this is tech, and that's what I love about it.
Right.
So I always like to do this at the when we get near the end of the podcast, which is, I don't know if I can't remember. So if you already have, invite you to become a member of the site, Blacks in Technology. Membership is free. You are a member. Okay, well then I'm talking nonsense. Great. And another thing I like to do is for you to go ahead and shout out like any of your URLs, such as blog or your Twitter handle, or any URLs that you're kind of a part of.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely ask people to go check out picture.ly, which is the site I'm working on. And if they want to provide any user feedback, they can contact me really through Twitter. If they hit me up on Twitter, which is pretty long, which is Hadiyah.me, spelled out HADIYAHDOTME.
Okay. And your blog is Hadiyah.me, right?
Yes, Hadiyah.me, and my email is me@Hadiyah.me. So.
Okay.
I'm pretty easy to reach.
And also, real quick, definitely check out Black Founders, and that's www.blackfounders, howsounds.com.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Great, excellent. I definitely want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and spending it with a couple of tech geeks here. We definitely appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you on the site more. We definitely need some of your expertise and your knowledge on the site as well. So whenever you get some time, I know you're busy. Great.
I'll check it out. I'll make more of a visit.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
I have one more question for you, Hadiyah. See that Steve Jobs passed away today. Are you going to do anything in San Francisco? I'm seeing posts online that they're going to, Dolores Park at 9 p.m. tonight to light their iPhones. The lighter, are you doing anything special at all tonight?
Wow, I did not know that they were, but this is San Francisco. But I know I didn't have anything planned. Definitely he was a great visionary. I personally didn't know him, but definitely thank him for the contribution that he made to the society while he was here.
He's definitely influenced me. I've read his book, Innovation Secrets of Steve Jobs, which is a really, really good book, and also his presentation book on how to give presentations, and he will be missed.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, thanks a lot again, Hadiyah, and hopefully, you guys get out here or we can get out there.
Okay, that would be great. Let us know if you come out.
Okay.
I'll give you the Silicon Valley tour.
Excellent. Take care.
All right. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.